12-0 with proof. 4-0 in the past 1 month with proof. 88-run victory by the India women's team against Pakistan, who just did not have their skin in the game at all. Second straight loss for Pakistan in the Women's ODI World Cup after having lost to Bangladesh. Second straight win for India after having beaten Sri Lanka in Barsapara. The 4-part series is done. What started from September 14th onwards.
Why are you stressing on with proof, as in? Do you need proof to...
They can whitewash history also, na?
As in?
Thank God they telecast the games. If the games weren't telecast, Pakistan would claim we won.
No, I don't get the reference.
Normally, everything Pakistan does, they claim victory over everything, na? In all the wars and all the things and all that. Luckily, there is broadcast of games on TV. If that was not done, they would have whitewashed and said, oh, we won. They would have had mock parades. Oh, we beat them on the field. We did all that. But here, when India reached 247 itself, they were not going to chase it down, considering the kind of play that right from the top until number 7 they display. No one has a attacking mindset. They all bat in the 70s and the 80s strike rate range. In this kind of wicket, which is only going to get tougher, Pakistan were going to suffer. And it continued the script. No handshake during the toss. No handshake post-match. So from September 14th until October 5th, this is the only thing that has remained consistent apart from India winning. It's 4-0.
So this then, I think this game then establishes the fact that on any sporting arena, and I'm guessing if this has happened, it can't just be restricted to cricket alone. I think in any sporting arena, you're not going to see India and Pakistani players shaking hands. So it wasn't just till the Asia Cup. I think this is the stance that's been taken at a much larger level, and so I think that will continue. Not just no handshakes at the start of the game and at the end of the game also, but it was quite a heated contest as well. A couple of instances that happened, it seemed like that it may boil over. One, I remember Harmanpreet was batting and there was a fielder there, like gave her the eyes, and then Harman also said something back to her. I can't lip read, so I didn't know what
Nashra Sandhu was the bowler.
So I could not lip read what she said, but obviously it seemed like she was like giving it back, and she was like staring at her. So that, and then there was this Deepti Sharma's throw that hit the Sidramin. It hit her. There was a stop there. Now there was a big debate on social media whether Deepti did it on purpose or was it by mistake. But you know, Deepti also, in a normal circumstances, when you do it, you raise your hand saying that I didn't, but Deepti did not do it. No reaction. In fact, Deepti at that moment actually complained and asked the umpire, did she, you know, on purpose block my throw? And then that can be a reason for appealing as well. So she actually checked that without like really saying that it hit her. But truth be told, the way I saw that particular incident, that one I'm talking about, I don't think there was any malice there. I don't think she was trying to hit, because it is directed directly at the stump, and if you see Deepti, she's got her back against her and she just turns and throws. So she doesn't really know where the batter is. Her aim is directly at the stump. But again, these are things that can boil over. And then there was that
Muni Bali.
That run out in the beginning where she just refused to leave the crease for the longest time, and you asked not to go, and then it seemed like that this could become a big talking point. It could be stalemate here. Eventually she walks away. So again, it wasn't, India-Pakistan on the women's arena, but everything that we've seen in the Asia Cup has kind of continued, whether it is those no shaking gestures, and whether it is things boiling over on the field in terms of aggression, all that we saw.
You can add one more. Right at the toss.
No, but that has not got anything to do with aggression.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about the
correct
idea that you've gone with, that I'm not going to shake hands, I'm not going to do it. Then when you're playing, eyes being shown, things being said, or ball being directed which hits her directly.
Correct.
So all of that, I'm not going to leave, I'm not out, that sort of a scenario.
It gave us a lot of talking points, when you have to look
No,
at
but it is spilling over from men's cricket to women's cricket. So I think it is now going to spill over to any India-Pakistan encounter. I can't imagine now suddenly you'll have, I mean, whichever field you play, whether it's tennis, kabaddi, whatever you play, hockey, going forward.
2026, India are going to play Pakistan twice in the FIH Pro League, by the way, in London.
I don't see any handshakes or anything happening then.
No, it's going to be very hostile. And this was, I mean, luckily, if there is a one difference from the Asia Cup till now, there were not that many provocative gestures by the Pakistani fielders or by the Indians. The Indians just minded their own business. But Pakistan, they didn't do this, they didn't do all these kind of things.
But the lady who got Sidra Amin, who got the most amount of runs, 81,
81,
I think,
yes.
81 that she got. Wasn't she the one who made some gestures? Please let our viewers know.
So, Sidra Amin is the same batter who, prior to the World Cup, there was a series between Pakistan and South Africa. In that, when she got to her 100, she gave this gesture. 6, 6, 6. But...
The concocted stories.
But at that time, we at Sports Today gave her the benefit of the doubt because it was a 6th ODI century.
But where does the zero come from then?
Zero doesn't come anywhere. But
So
she just
you're very
mentioned
smartly doing it.
6 in that sense. Yeah.
I mean, like for example, that's what Haris Rav also said when he was screaming 6-0 in the practice session. He was saying, no, the score of the football match was that. But the way he was screaming. So you were seeing every opportunity, but doing it in a much clever manner.
Yes.
But good in that sense, I'll give credit to the Pakistani players that at least, you know, those sort of gestures were there. And actually Indian women also overall. While things are going to spill over, as I said. But by and large, it was controlled. Like
very much.
Nobody really crossed the line.
Yeah.
You could see tension, which is going to be there, which hasn't been there in the two previous games that Pakistan played versus Bangladesh or India played versus Sri Lanka. There was far more tension you could see. But again, did not get ugly at any stage.
No. It didn't get ugly. Thankfully, we saw some cricket. Not the gestures. We at least discussed cricket. Yes, no handshake consistently. We knew about it about a week ago that yes, this was not going to happen.
The other thing that happened, I mean, because now the no handshake is not the controversy. The other thing that you mentioned at the toss, and believe you me, I'm very honest. I was watching the toss live, and I know social media picked it up later, but I was watching the toss live, and I also heard the captain say,
tails.
Fatima say tails. I heard her say tails, but then both the match referee and the commentator said heads, and it fell heads, and they won. And there was no reaction from either Harmanpreet or Fatima at all. And they carried on. And I was like, at that time, because I heard tails, and I was like, oh, maybe I may not have heard correctly, right? Because if it was going to be like that, there would have been some confused looks that would have been exchanged, like at the toss. But the Pakistani captain says tail, it goes up, and they say heads.
Yes.
And it falls head, and they say they won the toss. My point is that, okay, fine, you know, it's not become that big a controversy. And at the end of the day, India has won, so no one's really talking about it. But two scenarios. Let's say, in that rare chance, India had gone on to lose the game, which doesn't happen. 12-0, as Siddharth has said, is the record. So there was no chance India were going to lose. But in that rare chance, because it's such a high-stake game, if India were to lose, wouldn't that become a big controversy?
Massive.
And, more importantly, even if though India has won, imagine if it had been the other way around. And India got that benefit. Everyone, every Tom, Dick and Harry who follows cricket across the globe would have started with that same thing. BCCI runs cricket, BCCI has got this, BCCI
Indian Cricket Council.
Indian cricket, they have got it. Wouldn't that have started?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. But now, because it's happened to the other team, it'll go under the carpet and nobody's going to really...
It's absolute silence. And I'm very surprised that match referee Chandra Fritz made this mistake. She was a former South Africa player in the early 2000s. She had played. And she's been an experienced match referee. She was there even in 2022 in the Women's World Cup, then also in New Zealand. She's here. She's a very experienced person. I don't know how she could have made a blunder. Clearly, Fatima Sana called tails. It was clearly
I heard that.
And she said, heads it is. And
no, she said head. Heads is the
heads
call.
Is the call. Heads it is.
Heads it is.
And she asked Fatima to go and, okay, you won the toss. How? And why?
So why did nobody else flinch? Like, okay, Fatima, I agree, but she's the beneficiary. So she'll
why didn't Harmanpreet raise an issue?
She's like, but I heard her say tails. Like, or at least even if you're not sure, you could have like said Did I hear a tails? And let's say the match referee said no heads. Okay, fine. But you could have inquired, right? But nobody
I mean,
did.
what is it with the Sri Lankan conditions and India-Sri Lanka tosses here? 2011 World Cup, didn't we see?
But
It
that
happened
was-
2 times.
But that was in Mumbai. What has it got to do with Sri Lankan conditions?
But look at the stakes. It was a World Cup final. It
No,
could
but
have,
It's not Sri Lankan conditions.
but still, it
It
had
was like the air in Sri Lanka is like that you hear the wrong.
the air in Sri Lanka today only had bugs.
Hey, I think we should do a story on 5 weirdest instances when a game was stopped.
Which I did mention in the live that I did. That was a 15-minute
there
hold up.
should be.
We will. Then,
Yeah, tomorrow maybe.
yeah, because bees, fog, smog, snake, that also has happened.
Many.
The fumigator couldn't do his job. Even after that, there were still those bugs. So that's why, but it reduced in intensity after that. But yeah, lots and lots of talking points, especially from the toss to the no handshake to that run out.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a big controversy about that run out. First, Siddharth will tell you about it, and then I'll share my 2 bits about it, because there was a situation where the Pakistani players were just not
Yeah.
moving.
Okay. So what happened was, it was over number 3.6, the last ball of the 4th over. Muniba Ali was trapped in front and the ball went to the offside. Everybody was appealing, but Richa Ghosh said, no, I don't think it's an LBW shout. But at that time, Deepti Sharma, with her presence, and Deepti Sharma and runouts, what a story. She then effects a direct hit at the striker's end. Now, Muniba Ali is not behind the popping crease and her bat is in the air. Now, according to rule 38.1 MCC of run out and 30.1 in the playing conditions for a striker, if the ball is in play, you can be run out. It wasn't called a dead ball. So, ball was in play. So, she's run out. Second, if she was diving or running, and somewhere down the line when she tried to attempt that, if she had lost contact with the bat and the ground, person to bat or ground, the benefit of doubt could have been given to the batter. But in that, you clearly see the visuals, she was not running or diving. She became Johnny Bairstow of 2025. You have no right to wander out of your crease when the ball is in play. The umpire hadn't called it dead ball. It was still in play. Why did you wander out? So, Muniba Ali, her inspiration became Johnny Bairstow of 2023. Alex Carey did the same thing. Rightfully, he was given his marching orders. Rightfully, Muniba Ali, you can't wander around. It's not a Sunday stroll at the Ketarama. You have to have your bat behind the crease. Simple.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I have to credit Deepti Sharma. Always been, her game awareness is next level. It's always been the case, and she showed it today as well. So, because the on-field umpire first had, not given it out, and then they, wanted that third umpire to have a look. It's only when the third umpire had a look did they realize that the bat had just fractionally gone up in the air. Yeah. So, for game awareness, Deepti Sharma, 100 out of 100 once again. She's always been like that. And secondly, it's a marginal call because her bat was grounded at one point. She was inside the crease, but at the point the ball hits and the lights come off, that's the moment where her bat is just inches above in the air. And as far as I know, I haven't, like Siddharth, gone and read the rules, but as far as I know, that this thing where you must have seen sometime a player dives, and when you're diving, the bat is grounded, and in that dive, sometime your bat then goes later, it goes up. But once you have made the crease in that dive, then the umpire gives you the benefit of the doubt that you had made the crease, but in that dive, sometime the bat has gone up, and even if the ball is then hit the stumps, because you've crossed the line, which is mandatory, the umpire gives you not out. That only happens when you've really dived for a thing. In this case, she's standing upright, so there is no question of dive. So that's just a clarification. That is something I knew without having looked at the rule. Basically, if you follow cricket for so many years, you understand that. So I can't understand that the Pakistani players were not aware of this particular rule because they were not clearly happy with the decision. But at the end, as I said, the correct decision was made, and that's that. That can now bring us to the focus of the match. In fact, I must tell you, Surya Kumar Yadav again ignited the fire even before this match started. So as I said, the things that have happened in Asia Cup are spilling over here, because before this match started, he said the exact same thing. He said the same thing what he said at the Asia Cup when I was there. He said there is no rivalry. You know, rivalry is if you've played some 11 matches or
if you
12
played
matches,
12 games and
it's
scoreline 6-6 or 7-5.
or it is 7-5 or something like that. Once it is, you know, 11-0, and he said it will be 12-0. He said it at the start of the game. Then I don't think you should call it a rivalry, and he has a very valid point at that. But I must say that in men's cricket, even though I've often said Indian team is so far ahead of Pakistan in all formats, in the men's team. But on a given day, on a rare day, 1 out of the 10 match, Pakistan can win in the men's team. Final could have been that game, maybe 2-3 things went here and there, they could have, which tells you that. But I'm sorry, in women's cricket, I'm going 10 out of 10 currently if you play, not just based on the record, but now when you see the difference of the two teams as well. And I think the big difference is the batting. See, I don't think India has had a perfect game. The Indian women's team has had a perfect game. They've not had a perfect game. But I think if you look at the Pakistani team's batting, I don't think they can chase anything more than 200. In fact, bigger than the... Siddharth, since you give all the records, I'll give you a bigger record than 12-0. In ODI history, Pakistan have never touched 200 versus India. In their history, not even touched 200. Either batting first or chasing against India. Which tells you that their batting is far, far behind the curve. They're not really operating at the same level. And so the chances of an Indian women's team losing to Pakistan is far, far less than a men team also doing it. And that says a lot, because the men team also, as I said, 9 times out of 10, or who knows, even 9.5 times out of 10, they won't lose. But the women's team, the 10 out of 10. You can't. There is a big gap. And that's exactly what was on display today. And as I said, the Indian team hasn't had, the best of the days, and I'll get to the batting later. But even in terms of the fielding, the multiple chances, Richa Ghosh guilty on multiple
4
occasions.
dropped chances. Yeah. Sri Charani misfielding on a couple of occasions. I mean, today the fielding let India down big time. They should have actually won it by more than 100 runs. And I don't know why they are not playing Radha Yadav. Because Radha Yadav was
de facto playing, na? She was on the field throughout without really playing.
But she's
Who was she covering in for?
I couldn't see, but I think
she was there pretty much.
She was there. She was there for the whole thing. I think she was there. I think for a brief moment. I think she was there for Pratika Rawal. I think she was there for that particular moment. I think Pratika had suffered that eye injury. I think during that entire run-out fiasco, she was getting her eye checked because something went in. So maybe it was for that. But the fielding, and I'm sorry, this kind of performances, even the batting, I'm sorry, it's not giving me confidence heading into 2 crunch games on October 9th and October 12th, especially October 12th.
No, in fact, if you see both of it, I agree with you that we'll be happy with India winning the 2 encounters. They've beaten Sri Lanka, they've beaten Pakistan, so they're in a healthy position. But remember, this is a very long tournament. This is also a tournament where there could be few games washed out. All of that really makes a huge difference going forward. So you would want to do your best, and you have to be playing at your best. The thing that has happened for India on both matches, it was Amanjot who saved you the blushes versus Sri Lanka, and it was Richa Ghosh today who saved you the blushes. There could have been a good chance that you end up with a below par total. Both times you've had some rear guard action that's helped you. But if you really want, and I think this time, for the very first time, and I'm very honest, I said it, we are going to be tracking the women's team, which we anyway do, but this time with a lot of gusto, because I think this women's team has a serious chance, and I think the strongest chance ever that I can remember of winning a World Cup. So they're really primed to be doing that, but they can't be doing that with performances that are put up now, both in terms of batting that we've seen versus Sri Lanka and Pakistan, much weaker teams, but also in terms of your fielding too.
In the game against Sri Lanka, you benefited from 6 to 7 dropped catches from the opposition.
Today, Richa Ghosh could have been out. That comedy of errors between that, by the way, remains
between
the same.
Sidra Nawaz and the other Pakistan fielder. Yeah.
There is no game featuring Pakistan which is complete without one of these moments. Exactly. 2 fielders almost colliding and a catch drop. But again, jokes apart, had Richa been out there, who knows?
Yeah, you would have been 20 runs short.
Yeah. Though again, you would have won again the opposition. Yeah. But if you're playing, Australia, England, South Africa, New Zealand, these teams, you can't.
They will hurt you, because see, you've had 2 sluggish pitches. Let's make it very honest. Barsapara also was pretty sluggish with the rain and everything. This was the slowest of the ball. Stroke making became difficult. Smriti, Harman, Jemima and all. Jemima again. She was on 2. She played a horrible shot, but Diana Beg had overstepped. That cost you another 30 runs more. The top order really has to pull up their socks. Otherwise, you can't rely on Deepthi and Richa and Snehrana every single day. You can't rely on Amanjot. Today, Amanjot missed out because she was ill.
Yeah, she was unwell.
So 35, 25 and 20. You've gotten 90 runs from your lower order. Amanjot got a 50. Against Australia, you've had it. If the top order can't do it for you, your lower order will not do it for you every single time. But the hope is you are going to play on 2 truer wickets in Vizag. Vizag will have 2 matches followed by 1 more in Indore against England. Then you'll be playing in kind of dodgy conditions in Navi Mumbai. But this is a wake-up call. If your top order doesn't succeed in this World Cup, you can forget about winning the World Cup. And the fielding, get better fielders, please.
And what has been again the other thing, all your top guys have gotten starts. That's more worrisome. See, if you're, let's say, out of form or some good balls, some jaffers here and you're out early, so you know you're just not in the groove. Once you get a few shots going, 3, 4, 4s, these are the players who will get back. Now, the thing is that both, let's say, I'm going to talk about Smriti and Harmanpreet, both your star batters. Both have had decent start. Today, Harman looked like, a half century was coming your way or a century was coming. Just looked like that. And then suddenly, you look good. Same for Smriti. You look good.
But today, Harman, I don't know what's happened to her play against spin. Why is she not using her feet? Why is she not employing?
In fact, that used to be a strength.
Yes.
She used to use her feet very well against spinners and whack them as well.
Deep mid-wicket, that cow corner area, the clean swing dancing. I don't know what's happened.
She could even go straight down the ground.
Yeah.
She has such a straight back, such good technique.
But again, Mandhana, coming into this tournament, she was the batter in top form in the world. She's now only 41 runs away from becoming the first batter to hit 1,000 runs in a year. Wow. That is the form that Mandhana is having. But the law of averages might catch up. But if it catches up in this World Cup, it's the worst time to happen.
No, I look at the brighter side. That maybe, she needed 2 or 3 law of averages, bad games. They've gone against relatively weaker opposition. Once you get into the business end, against stronger teams, she comes up with her best.
Your next 4 are against the Sena. South Africa on 9th, 12th is Australia, 19th is England, 24th is New Zealand.
Wow.
All your 4 games now against the 4 contenders for this World Cup. And 12th, let me tell you, this performance doesn't inspire me confidence. Because these kind of small mistakes, the Southern Stars will absolutely kill you. Which is why better fielders, I would say, make a change. Sure, Sri Charani is doing well with the ball, but I would still get in a Radha Yadav. Better fielder. We need better fielders.
No, once, your team, I'm just looking at the Sri Lanka game as well, the way you had. So I think if Amanjot comes back, because she was unwell in this game, she comes back, then I think they got
Renuka Singh Thakur.
Renuka Thakur came in. Also because seaming conditions here, so they needed. But if Renuka goes out, then Amanjot comes in, then Richa is at number 9. Look at that depth of that batting order.
Yeah.
So that's one good thing that this team
exactly
have.
But then you kind of compromise on your bowling also in a way. Because see, you could get away with Sri Lanka, but then you need good bowlers against Australia. Sure, Vizag may not be that spin friendly. So maybe you can get one spinner out. But you'll have to play Deepthi and Snehrana. Get in a Renuka, because Renuka today bowled 8 overs on the trot.
Correct, and very economical.
Very economical. But the individual who continues to make all the right noises, Kranti Gaur. 3 wickets. She was in fact 8 overs, 2 for 17 at one point. Hailing from Chhatarpur in Madhya Pradesh, she has always come through the hard grind.
Be careful whenever you quote who hails from where.
No, Chhatarpur, Madhya Pradesh.
Saying, because today Natalie was also playing, nah?
No.
Where does Natalie come from?
Pakistan, Kashmir.
Pakistan
administered Kashmir. But Pakistan, Kashmir is also fine, right?
Yeah.
It's neither administered, neither it's in that particular geographical zone. So, Kranti Gaur hails from Chhatarpur in Madhya Pradesh, and that is sovereignty part of
Sana
India.
Mir was there, commentary.
Yes, she was.
No action has been taken.
No action has been
Something
taken.
has to be an issue. Can't say that.
But then, a lot of things don't politicize it. I got this. Maybe she's convinced the broadcasters, look, I did my research. It was like that. It changed. But she's not apologized for it. But Sana Mir was there on air doing commentary. So I don't know how she's managed to convince the broadcasters to keep me on, but nah.
And Natalie was also playing, and
Yeah, Natalia Parvez from...
Natalia, sorry, that's the correct.
Yeah, Natalia Parvez, yes.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go. So Shubham Garg is saying, Nick sir, on Vic Nick show, you guys said Gill deserves captaincy. How he deserves? Where are the big tournament runs except 80 versus New Zealand? Shreyas deserves it.
No, Shubham, I never said that. I think I was the opinion that Rohit should have continued. I think you check out the show again. My first choice would have been Rohit, and I've even gone on to say on Sports Today that you can see that it's up on the ball also, where I said that imagine you're going into the World Cup, and I know that now Rohit and Virat will be judged series by series and their performance will be looked at, but assuming they keep performing, 2 years later they are part of the World Cup squad based on performance, let's say, and you're going to the World Cup and Rohit is in your team but he's not captain. You're missing out on such a vital skill that he brings it. Yes, people will say that he can chip in with some ideas, which is fine, but captain is captain. Now, chipping in with ideas once in a while. And he is going to be going there. Anyway, so I said that's my first choice. But secondly, I mean, now once you had to look forward and then go, then you had to have the reason behind switching captains is that they want to have one format captain. Your chairman of selector and coach have made it clear that it's tough to organize and plan with different captains for different formats. So now Shuman's done well in Test cricket. He's going to continue. Indian cricket likes that. Eventually you'll have all, and it'll be in T20 also he'll be given the captaincy. Yes, if he does not have a great time going forward as a captain, then they might look at somebody else who then can be an all-format captain. That is your ultimate goal in Indian cricket. And at the moment he seems to be that contender. Yes, Shreyas is a good contender too, but does he make all teams? No, he's not going to be playing Test cricket. He's made it very clear. He's not made the cut for your T20 team. Then how can you have that?
Ashish, will Rohit Kohli retire if out of form before 2027?
No, yeah, it will be. So I don't think they want to retire right now. It's pretty clear they both want to play the 2027 World Cup, right? But they are going to be now judged and their performance will keep, coming up. Now, because you don't play too much ODI, you will be judged, you'll have to play Vijay Hazare also, whatever. But if they keep scoring runs, they'll play. But yeah, if they don't, then I think they would be spoken to, they would be told that listen, you're not getting runs, we're looking beyond you, and then the right thing, as it happened with Test cricket, they probably may announce their retirement themselves, and then it makes sense also. If you think Indian cricket is moved forward, right now Indian cricket has not told them we move forward, yes, but it's kind of told them that you're not captain anymore, we don't know whether 2027 World Cup, you're not guaranteed a spot, yeah. But as I said, if you keep scoring runs and you're fit enough to play, who can drop you? You can't drop. Your destiny is in your own hands. And as far as I can see it, both Rohit and Virat especially, in this format, he's a next level beast. I cannot not see him do well in this format. And if he's doing well, how can you look beyond him? You can't do that.
Rahul Bhide is like saying, India ka batting is a big concern. Fielding bhi, run out miss kiya जब पाकिस्तान जब mix up है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया तो 200% देने वाली अब से क्योंकि इनके एक मैच वॉश आउट हुआ है. यस, इंडिया, आई मीन ऑस्ट्रेलिया श्रीलंका वाज वॉश्ड आउट राइट हियर, बट यस, बैटिंग फील्डिंग बिग कंसर्न. एंड प्लीज रिव्यू, they
wasted
3 cast iron outs they missed today. I don't know what was Harmanpreet doing.
Their reviews earlier and wasted like by a massive margin, like they were not even close.
Correct.
Those reviews, terrible.
Yep. Priyanshu has got a special request for you.
What is it?
You were in Dubai. Please write an article titled Pakistan Occupied Trophy.
No, it's not Pakistan Occupied. Let's make it clear. It's in the Asian Cricket Council office in Dubai only. The chairman happens to be from Pakistan, but we have not heard the last of it. You can't. It's not your personal fiefdom that you can keep it. Eventually, the trophy will reach where it's supposed to reach. That will bring with it a lot of embarrassment also. People who said we can keep it. It belongs. It's not your only way Pakistan can get that trophy is if you rightfully earn it.
Exactly.
Play well, win the tournament, take it.
Yep.
Not like this.
King D, can Australia women team beat the Pakistan men's team? Whoa! The Southern Stars are.
By the way, King D, I must tell you, I'm a huge fan of the Australian women's team. They've been a cut above the rest, everyone. But this time, the gap isn't as big as I always thought. This time, the Indian team, and especially in these conditions, and they've had a bit of a churn in Australian women's team as well. Some of their big stars are, I think, now towards, the end of their career.
Yeah, 4 people I think are playing their last World Cup. One is Alyssa Healy. I think this is her last World Cup. Elise Perry is going to play her last World Cup. Maybe Beth Mooney to a certain extent. Megan Schutt, definitely, because she's been there for the past 10 years. So these are your 4 guys. But they've got a generational talent in that who are 22, 23. Yeah,
I'm not denying that. They're favorites.
Yeah.
But I think the gap isn't much. Like earlier, I would be like, especially against the Australian, and while, okay, England, New Zealand and South Africa could compete, but I would still say that you went in almost with this equal amount of chance. But with Australia, they were like, you know how it used to be in men's cricket at one point, but against Australia, more often than not, you're going to lose. It would have been a big win if CB series you won.
Yes,
it was
2008,
massive. It was massive. So it was that situation, but now it's like how it is with India, Australia and men's cricket. You compete with them, you beat them. It's a 50-50 sort of a game. I think the women's teams made giant progress.
This bilateral series, you ran them real close.
Correct, yeah.
2-1. And also in the past, if you look at barring 2020, you run them close each time. In 17, 22, 24, you did run them close. So, Shubham, just asking, Gill has poor Oz T20I series also. Then will single captaincy theory still be floated, considering when Gill is the weakest link in T20 squad?
I don't think if they've gone with a captain, they've gone with a lot of thought, and they're not going to give him such a short rope. It's going to be a long rope. I think they'll be patient with him. I guess, call will be taken. They'll give him a year and a half for sure. Yeah. And I think the reason they made him a captain in ODI also well in advance, because they also really want to see how he copes up in this format going forward for a little bit of time. So,
yeah. Last question.
Yeah.
From Syed Nizamuddin. Can any team beat the mighty Australian women's team? Yes, I think there are 2-3 teams who can beat the Australian women's team. I mean, look at it. India, whether you like it or not, they are right up there to beat them. Yeah. England can cause a surprise. South Africa, you can't tell with them. They also ran them pretty close. And in that order, India, South Africa, England, New Zealand. That's the order.
You can take all the 3 comments that we can see here. Indian supporter Martin Kite and Suresh.
Okay. So, Indian supporters saying current management and every analyst, including you guys, say no superstar culture should prevail. But when India wasn't winning ICC trophies, or even falter in future, why was major blame allotted to Rowe and Co?
Where was?
We said the collective team failed, but yes, they were the faces when they also failed. They were the faces when they also succeeded.
Superstar culture was questioned not just for Morocco, for everyone. That meant that you have to play domestic cricket. You know what they dealt with Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer in which manner? You know that. You saw Virat and Rohit Sharma also play. So I don't think anyone was putting the blame on just those 2 guys. I think they wanted to put a level playing field and one sort of a rule that everyone follows, and that's how it should be in the team sport. And they took the other decision, and that had nothing to do with just Rocco. If you know, majority of the players and their families were traveling, they took a call there as well, that Correct. You can't. And if you are, there has to be protocol like it used to be in the past. So many days you can come, this. And they put that, and it was not, I don't think it was aimed just at Rohit and Virat. I think there were many other players who were, coming in that same bracket, and they wanted that to stop. And that is what means by superstar culture.
Exactly. Martin Kite, do you think Gill will improve his game being 3-format captain? Still now he has never proved in multinational tournaments, but how many multinational knockout tournaments has he played in? 2023?
He was in your Champions Trophy squad, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You won the Champions Trophy. Just now, you won the Asia Cup, he's in your squad. He did give you some good starts and playing in a very different...
Even in 2023, he was okay, but he had suffered dengue in 2023 ODI World Cup, remember.
But then he came back and then he was there for the business end.
Yes, he didn't do well in the final. He got out for 4, but then...
Yeah, but he got runs.
He got runs, yes. Suresh, PAK women's next match is against Australia. Then, yes, Australia should bat first in 350. Pakistan aren't going anywhere. Yeah. But for that, the weather has to stay like this. No rain, we get a full 50 over game. That's how it is. Because it rained in the morning in Colombo. Now it's actually fine. So Fingers crossed for that. But yep. Now the next game that we'll be focusing on is the India versus South Africa encounter. Your Colombo leg is done.
Kranti God is the
Player of the match, yes.
yeah.
For her 3 wickets. Fantastic exhibition of bowling. And yes. So the next attention that we are having is on 9th October. India versus South Africa, Vizag. Colombo leg done. Every game now will be in India for the Indian team. Then on 12th this week, massive encounter. India versus Australia. Potentially your finalists. Clash of the finalists, India-Australia. So let's see. So this week, a lot of cricketing news. West Indies also. Test match begins right here at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. So we'll join you then. Do check out all the videos from me, Nikhil. It's goodbye, Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair. Eat your vegetables. Don't trouble your mother. Stay safe and subscribe to Sports Today.
Bye.